Peace and blessings. My name is Sister Deidre Muhammad. I'm the author of Hidden Princess, The Rebirth of Making Mary.
The rebirth. The first one was amazing, so I know that the rebirth is just going to be phenomenal. So
Miss Muhammad as a writer is just fascinating.
Oh, thank you, Miss Tony. I pray it is phenomenal for everyone, Sister Leisha. We are unveiling the cover of the new book today. The genre for Hidden Princess is for new adults through adult fiction based on true accounts. It's a love story that encompasses the Black experience. This is a Black History project where Black History nuggets are interwoven through and through. Plus, there will be Black History trivia for your chance to win. And today, you get to see some of the actors who played in the Making Mary movie, and they did a wonderful job bringing true life to the characters that are in the book. Like Vivian Johnson, who played the heroine, Vivian, which was my great-great-grandmother. By the way, you look very cute.
Well, thank you. I took my mask off, and put on my lips for this special occasion.
We're going to take this journey together, everyone. The team is ready. Tamara Cotto is in the house. She starred as Minnie. Slick Sean is in the house. Oh man, the team. We have Chris Townsend. Not everyone will be met. However, we will see glimpses of their stellar roles. No tickets necessary. This is a free event, so go ahead and tag your friends now.
Is this it? You? My money suckers.
The music you'll begin to hear in this presentation is from the 20s era. You'll hear music by Young Khan the Don and DPC Music, Antonio Woodruff. He actually did the theme music for the Making Mary movie.
Well, it's making Mary. She got her eyes on you. Well, it's making Mary. You better watch what you do.
Deidre Muhammad, as an author, your works are masterpieces. You are the most compelling writer that I know.
Thank you, Brother Corey. You know all glory belongs to God, and I thank Him for using me as a vessel for what I pray Hidden Princess represents. And in her final editions, represents what readers have referred to as ingenious, breathtaking, masterful, explosive, and that which raises cultural competency.
I am honored and privileged just to have the opportunity and experience of serving as a director in some of your projects. RSLS, which is the acronyms for Rising South Literacy School and the Making Mary Project, is very important today in teaching the Black youth the importance of Black literature these days, because so many things are going on, and everything that we're associated with now, it has so many vulgarities.
Willette Battle has been the set designer for the Making Mary project ever since we featured Houdini in 2015 in the musical called This Land Is Your Land. She is also a fashion designer. She would know how to style the artist so readers could get a better feel for the era, and like Corey said, prevent common vulgarities. Miss Willette Battle, you did a tremendous job in helping the actors and actresses because you outfitted them for the Making Mary movie. And we were really trying to get that 20s feel. Tell me about what it was like for you and what you had to do to make sure the actors were ready to present on filming day.
Oh, wow. Well, see, that's one of my favorite periods. I mean, I really was inspired by your project, and what I went to immediately was the feel of Harlem Renaissance. You know, the feel of like upwardly mobile, our culture in a time when it was upwardly mobile, and how we took pride in what we looked like, and you know, we were put together. So I happen to have my diverse catalog of uniforms that we've you know, and so in watching rehearsals, you know, I'll come in and getting to know the characters, and because I'm a designer, I'm looking at form as, you know, and of course function and what they have to do in the play, and in their characters.
Some money, man. And she ain't no angel like he called her, clearly. You mean he gonna be at the concert tonight? He need all of us if we gonna perform. I don't even know. Damn!
Willette, how are things going with you and the fashion world?
Well, I'm coming out with another collection.
Miss Battle is the first Black designer from this region to be invited to showcase a fashion collection during Paris Fashion Week on the first floor of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France. She gave 6 up-and-coming American models the opportunity to be shot by international photographers like Getty Images, and to walk in an international show for other designers as well. She is a part of the Making Mary project. Miss Battle is currently working on a line inspired by our new Madam Vice President called Chucks and Pearls.
I'm actually teaching at Oakwood. I'm a professor there.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
What are you teaching there? What do you do?
This semester, painting, graphics for the web, and color theory.
Color theory. Okay. Teaching kids students how to do what with color theory? Like clothing, or what is it?
No, paint. You know, I have a degree in fine art.
I didn't know. So you could do painting.
I'm an artist.
You do it all. Oh, okay.
I don't weld.
You don't weld. You don't do that. Okay.
I don't do that.
Paint. You paint. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. I hadn't seen you advertise that part of you.
That was the first. That's when I came on. That's what I did.
She did the set design. You know, when we had Houdini here in town?
I never saw that. I didn't know. Yeah, and I didn't know
Yeah.
then, and I wasn't even.
Well,
No,
she designed the whole set.
Oh, okay.
Designed and built.
And
Ooh.
built the set for it,
Okay.
and it was awesome. Willette created magic on this set. She made the actors understand that they were dignified. The characters were dignified, even with the turmoil going on. And Minnie was that Southern belle.
So just kind of that, like, understanding the time frames, and so that was interesting. I think just having to kind of even pick up the language to, and I think Willette kind of said it, like understanding like how we would speak and the dialect and what a lady was like.
There were just like little subtleties being taught, like using a fan to cool oneself instead of a folded over piece of newspaper.
Minnie, what's your name?
It's Harry. Harry Raisin. From the Raisin Plantation. My family been sharecropping that land since slavery ended.
You like it over there? My sister here looked down upon the common sharecropper, but I admire you boys. Strong.
Shucks, I ain't too strong. Well, one time I did catch a fallen tree,
A fallen tree.
so I guess I am pretty strong.
You are a hard worker, aren't you?
Sure is. Just got back from the war. I had to fight to get in there. I had to fight to stay alive. One time I got pet down in the brush by the Germans. I would have been dead had nobody fired a shot. Sending them soldiers west of the river. I made it escape.
You aren't no ordinary sharecropper.
You know,
are
back
you?
then, which would be different when we talk about culture and the times. How a lady acted, even in the midst of whether, you know, Vivian's abusive, you know, relationship, and how she
Right.
still had to hide that and accept it, but that is not acceptable, but yet having to hide that and keep it, and then others feeling as if they would hide it for her too, even though it wasn't acceptable. So I think just kind of learning that and understanding that through the eyes of the author, you yourself, of the book, and trying to bring that to life, and even adding, as my some of the other people involved probably would say, adding a little bit of entertainment to it, or comical piece, just to lighten a situation that can be, a tough situation to address, for women especially.
Germany was just one stop on my mission. I also made a stop. Thank you.
You're welcome.
In Africa, Denmark.
Man, if we knew of our greatness, that we're far more than what is generally depicted, and that we're better than even we suspect, then the lions and lionesses in us would rise up to meet and expect that greatness to be manifested for the world to see. Matter of fact, we would exceed even our own greatness. People from other cultures, they sometimes look at us in wonderment because we don't typically celebrate our own culture, as though we don't really understand the need for it.
Being from the Caribbean, I really never worried much about a Black history. My history surrounded me. I went to school with people that look like me. I went to church with people that look like me. And I work with people that look like me. It wasn't a minority majority thing, and actually what that did for me, it gave me the confidence to know that I can accomplish anything I wanted to accomplish, because everyone around me were accomplishing greatness and they look like me.
Everything about the book is passionate, from historical nuggets of our relationship with the Seminoles and how they hit us. Readers are exposed to Icy and Sweet and the Tulsa and Rosewood Massacre, and how Henry, one of the main characters, felt the ripples of these massacres and the emotional torment it caused him in the story.
And the importance of teaching young Blacks youth the importance of Black literature.
Make me imagine that I'm going crazy the way I'm feeling about you. We love the tea, right? Is there some tea in Making Mary? Yes. Is some tea in there?
I was blessed to have Mr. Speaks as my high school Black history teacher. Having that made me more interested in who I am.
I was brought up in a predominantly Black school, so we learned about Black history, not just in the month of February, but every day. And so it was amazing to be able to be surrounded by that, not because it was something that we had to, it was just something that we were.
It's passionate to think about where we came from, what land did we come from, what part of the earth.
Your writings are truly unique.
Are saying that it should be required reading in all of the social sciences.
Hidden Princess is a cultural explosion, a page-turning masterpiece filled with a rich description of a dead people who did not even know they were divine. Based on true accounts, it is a monumental piece that can sit on bookshelves next to a certain class of books, such as the likes of the great Richard Wright, Langston Hughes, Ralph Ellison, Zora Neale Hurston, Toni Morrison, and all would be in good company. Hidden Princess cross-compares Gone with the Wind and Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, mainly because of their positioning of the opulent historical themes. And this claim has not been made because it is considered the most compelling love story imaginable. No. In Gone with the Wind, the Civil War is a backdrop of an inspiring love story like Hidden Princess, but in Hidden Princess, the Black experience is the backdrop, demonstrative of mental conditions that have spread over generations, and our role that has been erased from history, and our development.
And we not teach the history of the Black people as well. That way, everyone is gaining confidence that they are able to accomplish anything that they want to accomplish.
My mother had an idea for the cover. Only a seasoned, illustrious artist could bring that vision to life. I chose John Jahni Moore to put that vision to his hands and mold it into life.
I'll say like Henry O. Tanner said, I'll preach with my brush. Okay.
Unbeknownst to John Jahni, some of his previous work already aligned with the story. In Hidden Princess, there are three sisters, Robina, Vivian, and Minnie, and their mother, Carol. Robina, in the picture here, she reminds me of the one with the fiery hair, because Robina owned a bar in Michigan and was probably one of, if not the first black females to do so in the 20s. Robina owned a bar. That's not a common life for a female in that climate. So I had to construct, how did she get that way? How does that even happen? In John Jahni's art, as in Hidden Princess, an American tragedy is detailed, the sad realities of one of the heroines, but also the birth of a new greatness, awareness, dreams, and the resurrection of a people who were considered the bottom rail. We did a very short movie about Making Mary. I am thrilled to report that dancers and actors from Atlanta and throughout the Tennessee Valley brought the type of talent we can be proud of. Dancer Sabira from the ATL is shown depicting and performing the words of the poetic rendition of Making Mary and codifying the basic elements of how to make something as sophisticated as a Mary. So while the history of my family laid the base, Hidden Princess refers to us all. I interviewed Lee Johnson about her role as Vivian, who was espoused to Lee, an abusive man who actually loved her. Importantly, I want you to talk about how you internalized the role.
It ain't safe no more with all that terrorism and lynching happening. Even though you thought Escambia County would be safe in the 1920s, 55 years after slavery.
All this cleaning needs to be done around here. Guess I'm doing it alone again. Slavery ain't over in this house. Don't talk to no boys now. And keep decent with your fast tail.
Did you feel like Vivian?
Hold on now, let's talk about Lee. Lee was abusive.
Oh, but did Vivian do anything to bring that abuse on?
Well, I mean, I guess in a sense, if he saw like a side-eye glance that may have been given to Henry, that could have provoked it. But I just think that one, he was an alcoholic, and you can never be too careful with them alcoholics. No, it's like the book is coming back to my mind. The memories, the movie is coming back to my mind as I think everything through. Because some roles you can kind of, well, one as an African American, as a black woman, we're all queens and princesses, you know. So that right there was not hard to internalize, but from the aspect of being like abused or something like that, you know, that's different, you know, because that's not me, you know, especially in my relationship or in my past or with family, you know, you hear the stories or you see the movies and things like that, so you can in a way imagine how someone may feel, you know, to be that person and not have a place to run to, because depending on how a person is providing for you, and you know, back in the day, you know, like Lee, you know, he was providing, you know, he went to work and, you know, he was taking care of home, but still behind closed doors, you know, this is what he did. And so back in the day, I can only imagine, you know, when a mom has somebody who's going to be able to take care of their children, you're not really thinking anything past that. And then when you think about the history of my mother, I mean, she was, trying to find her somebody. She was, so she was, I mean, it was almost like, okay, I got somebody to take care of her, very good, because she's trying to still live her own life, So it wasn't really like there was somebody that you could run to, that could protect you. It was like you're kind of in this on your own, and will they really believe me, type of thing. I don't know.
Could Henry protect Vivian?
Only to a certain extent, because Henry was with Minnie,
Was he?
And so, huh?
Was he?
I know.
Don't you worry. You're crying before you're
in the eyes of in the eye of the beholder. Now, for you to read the book, because see, it's different. Having read the book and know all that the audience does not know, the book is more in depth, and the movie is like there's parts that you miss from the movie that the book will give you. In reading the book, there's so much history that we are making doing this book trailer, and I'm glad that it's being done as a Black History project. And that, that brings me to my next thing. I get to introduce the first trivia question. Yes. So our first trivia question, what was a famous poem that was written by Langston Hughes? That can be our first. What's another good one? Who was the first African American to sing on the steps of the Capitol?
Oh, I know that one. I put the answer to that on my Soldiers for Black Literature Facebook page. And I didn't know it until I had researched that, and I put that there. I almost started to yell it out to you right now. I'm so excited about it. But listeners, what needs to happen is you need to text your answer to 256-602-1494. Now, question number 1 was, repeat that question.
The question number 1 was, what is a famous poem that Langston Hughes wrote?
And it doesn't even have to be famous. Let's just say any poem, because
any poem.
Okay,
I think all of his poems had some type of famous, were famous, but yes, any poem.
And question number 2
was, who was the first African American to sing on the steps of the Capitol? You have a vision, and to be able to help you bring that vision to life,
Where did Toussaint Louverture fight in a revolution? Text your answer to 256-602-1494 for a chance to win.
Carry on like that, won't you find somebody the family don't know?
We have with us today Sean. I love to affectionately say Slick Sean, as you might know him. He is a giant in the industry.
My money sucks.
I feel like he was an enabler for sure.
But you played it so well.
Was the kind of that I looked at his character as the kind of person that he would turn a blind eye to things like domestic violence and friends that are not savory, not so savory, just because they were trying to make money and do their band thing. And people, I mean, that's real even to this day. People, they look to the side or they turn a blind eye to things that are toxic in people's traits, and just so they can gain something out of it, but they're basically enabling.
The law done told us we got ourselves a Negro wanted for 75 and killing a white man. What? And if anybody knows something, to report it to the sheriff's office immediately. Look at this bulletin. You telling me that sharecropper Vivian was with? Man, people gonna start flying up out of here high like birds do. Man, you telling me this ain't Vivian? Oh, man. Yep. They brought a sack of these bulletins by my store, but they ain't doing a doggone thing to get a brother locked up. Man, if we keep quiet, Lee gonna take the fall, man. Can't have that, man. He already talking about going to Michigan. They gonna think he running from something. When they catch him, they gonna hang him high. We need to do something, man. We need to do something. Yep, we sure do. They gonna get Vivian too, man.
What manner of cover could represent the men, the music, the love, the hurt, the pain, the desire of, and belief in what following the North Star would mean for them? And how could the picture of that era bring hope to contemporary so-called urban Americans? How could Vivian's emotions be drawn on canvas? The previous cover depicted abuse and turmoil, yet those are only two of the many twists and themes.
Your works are really, it's like it's so real. I'm sure someone has gone through some of the things that they read in your book. I know your book was based on a true story.
Because the characters are developed so thoroughly, the anatomy of domestic violence is uniquely explored from the point of view of the male's perspective. Sexual assault is investigated because this is based on a true story. People don't like to talk about sexual assault, but according to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, every 73 seconds someone is sexually assaulted, and every 9 minutes that person is a child. Yet we are supposed to sweep it under the rug because it's our shame. And men are sexually assaulted too. It's our embarrassment. That's how we stay quiet. And like most of the other debilitating woes, blacks lead the charge and have poor outcomes when left untreated or left unaddressed.
Blake, let's get the hell out of here, man. My only regret is Lee think he can fix you with his hands.
Then I'll say I did it, and maybe they won't come after you.
It's not what I want. There's only one answer. That's for me to get you clear up out of Escambia County.
People are saying that it should be required reading in all of the social sciences.
Can we not teach the history of the Black people as well? That way, everyone is gaining confidence that they are able to accomplish anything that they want to accomplish. That I'm raising children in America where there's a minority-majority thing, and history is being taught in the schools and typically focuses on a white history. Just teach every history, the Black history, the white history, those of the Hispanics. Let's just balance it out and be fair.
The Black experience is the backdrop of the sweetest, purest love story imaginable. And that's my secret. That's my secret. That's how I suck my readers in.
A teaching is being provided that's almost below the threshold of conscious perception. This is true.
The way she spelled out her grandmother's story, Vivian's story, was just, it definitely hooked you.
Just this whole 45-minute segment is for such a time as this, with everything that is going on, you need to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and for such a time as this.
For such a time as this.
Yeah.
I like that. Jewels just flow out of your mouth. Because of the many treasures in Hidden Princess, I'm mentioning 19 of these gems and themes spilling from the chapters. And yes, white supremacy, the examination of white supremacy is one of the themes. And then there's the aftermath of slavery through the Great Depression. And 3, the Great Migration, Detroit history, Native Americans and blacks and their relationships, child development, developmental psychology, social psychology, black music, Escambia County, Florida, because that's where the Johnsons were from, black relationships, religion, abuse prevention. It's a compelling love story. Women's studies, the anatomy of domestic violence, the black experience, the Willie Lynch syndrome, sexual assault. And finally, there's a roadmap to success interwoven in each chapter.
And every creeping thing that crawls. So write my name on your wall.
Henry's role, his character in the book was extremely controversial. People had mixed feelings about him, but mostly people forgave him.
Look plain Jane. Like 1920.
All right, so, and I really think Harry, you know, he was a ladies' man. He wanted to actually make sure everybody was all right. Make sure.
Whoa. He was a ladies' man? I don't want to take away your line of thoughts. I'm listening.
Okay, well, what I was saying is that it could be perceived that Harry was a ladies' man. When in actuality, he was just a loving, protective gentleman. That's what he was. I applaud him.
I think that Henry was a leader. He was a trailblazer, you know, in my ideas. That's how I looked at him. I looked at him as a person to get it done. I mean, because we all know that it's a lot of. What I mean to detail is that he knew what was right and he knew what he wanted to do, but he was living in a not so right society. I guess, and I had to kind of like incorporate try to incorporate the 1920 ideas and ideology and how us as African Americans are perceived and how we just kind of we've kind of grown to have a resistance to take the lick and keep on ticking. It's just so I kind of looked at that as being instilled in Henry.
Henry had a vision, and that's why he wanted to go north. He knew there was more to life than being a sharecropper for his former slave masters. But his mother tried to stamp out that dream of his because she didn't want her son to disobey the mob of white supremacy. She feared for his life. The mob of white supremacy has never left American society, though. So what cover could depict the dream that blacks had and still have today? Brother John Jahni was charged with making that dream the cover of the book.
I'm gonna open up some blinds, see if we get some light in here. I like this natural light. I have a south-facing window.
Okay, now.
And this nice light. And yes. So behind me, underneath that paint smock, is where the actual piece is. Okay. We're gonna walk past that. I'm gonna take you on a little tour.
I love it. Tell me some of the challenges and some of the thought processes you had whenever you were doing the cover for Hidden Princess.
Well, the first question is always let me do the research. I want to sort of get to the author's head and come from there. And what I did is I thought about you as the writer. And I remember over the years, your plays, I think it's a passion here. Okay? There's a passion that comes from beyond her. And then I said, let me think about the model. So what I did, I actually contacted the original model that you used.
You're kidding? Are you serious?
And I found her.
He never told me that.
I found her. I had her come by here. I took a photograph. I said, I'll use her as a reference. I don't want to do a direct portrait of her. So she was the reference. Yeah, she came by. We talked for a while. And she talked about the first book, and of course I had a copy of it, so she's like, oh, good, that was me. So once I did that, I thought about the whole idea of the North Star and the significance and I wanted to sort of come out of the darkness, coming forward, because the idea of something emerging. Because when we think about something being born, something being made, we think about coming out of something dark into the light.
During the tour of his art studio, John Jahni started showing me pictures that were already posted all around the world.
Tell me some of the countries where your art has been or still is being exhibited.
I've had work to go. Hawaii, of course. I've had work to go. I guess the most of my work now, I would have to say, is in South America. Colombia, South America. I have work in Quito, Necoclí, Apartado, and a few of the other San Cristobal, a few other places in that area. In fact, I probably have just as many murals in those places as I do here in the States.
John Jahni used murals in his quest for justice. In the book, Henry was denied justice. He was the victim of white supremacy as a sharecropper and as a World War I veteran. When he followed the North Star to Michigan for an escape, racism lived there too.
Yeah, and I kind of felt that that he was a brave, courageous, whether he was a sharecropper, whether he was a soldier that's fighting in war for his country. And he always kind of kept that level of distinction, and he was a gentleman. I mean, I know some of the scenes, some people might dispute that, but in my eyes, I think he was a gentleman.
In the book clubs that I've conducted, people talked about Henry's role. And in the movie, the most talked about character next to Vivian was Henry. The readers keep talking about Henry because while he was perceived good on one hand, but then why did Vivian have a fall from grace?
Past struggles and come out of the lion's den. Submit that he's one, we're the zero, which makes us a 10. Only then will we win. Coming forth from Mary's womb is a good and evil client list. She births Jesus and or Hitler, wicked men who rule with iron fists.
Yeah, yeah. But but you know that from the book, and so yes, from a book standpoint, Henry could have protected Vivian.
If you think about it,
could have. Because the question posed, could he? Yes, he could have. But would he have chosen to is a different scenario. No, he would not have chosen to. One, it is I think the message that is being put out is one that is not spoken about much. It's almost like the elephant in the room. And people don't really want to speak about it, but they know that it's happening. And, it's almost like shame on us, because, you see that person that they got that makeup on tight because they've been beat. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and there's ways that people are in their own way asking for help, but no one really comes to their rescue, so to speak.
But Henry, played by loyal Leo Curry, feels that he did come to Vivian's rescue, but it was difficult during the 20s to make a move to help someone when you really don't know how you can help yourself.
At that time in 1920, it was complex. Even still today, certain aspects of even in 1920 is still prevalent today.
Well, especially in the 20s, Black women, many of them didn't see themselves as princesses. They, like Vivian, thought of a princess as one with blue eyes and blonde hair.
And stop calling me that. I hate that. I'm no more a princess than my sister. The Negro could be.
In the book, it was Lee who explained to Vivian that she was a princess when she didn't believe she was. Poetically, he compared her to brown muffins his mother used to make before she died. Lee said Vivian was a princess because she was brown, like those muffins. Hidden Princess is witty, satirical, comical, what was lacking was a cover that would attract readers like you.
And I wanted to show different aspects of her.
Right.
But as an artist, I'm working with one frame. And I have to allow that frame to serve as a narrative. How do I tell a story within a frame? So one of those ways, you think in terms of a storyboard. If I show different aspects of the person. So I knew I wanted to do that. Showing half of a face says something about mystery. So I did part of that and then also turned in a different direction to say, okay, we're looking somewhere else. So it literally takes the viewer on a journey within one frame. Because in a film, you have thousands and thousands and thousands of frames.
Right.
You see an image. But in visual art, generally you have that one frame. In that one frame, you have to frame the entire story, the essence of the story. And the whole idea was to get people to look at this story and want to know what's behind this cover.
Bravo. Bravo.
Oh, shucks, here we are. This brother is about to unveil it.
So that's what you called me to action. All right.
I'm drum rolling. All right, here we go.
All right, here
See
we
your
go.
smock.
So let me step back a little bit when she get the whole piece in there. All right, this is the smock. These are different colors. I don't know if it's as vivid there as is what I'm looking at. And these are just little paint strokes. You know, I cleaned some of the paint off. I shifted around to get exactly the amount of paint I need before I go into the canvas. And, you know, this is one of my smocks. So beneath this smock is the piece. I'm going to keep that there. Make sure we can hold that. There we go. All right, so the first thing I did, I blocked everything in, okay? And when I mean blocking in, everything goes in a shade of blue. That lets me know where everything is going to be. And also ties everything together. But before the blue, I laid in a sepia undertone, which basically tones the canvas first. And then after sepia undertone, I go in and I start laying in what I call local color. That's the color of the skin, the color of the lips, and the background, and all those things. And I wanted certain things to stand out. I wanted her face to stand out, but I didn't want it to look like a magazine type scenario. So I allowed the face to fold over into the profile of her face, okay? And then anytime you have something that's further in darkness, there's an air of mystery. There's always something else, like this book. And here is yet another eye over here, that eye looking from in the background, what we want to call the darkness, because when you close your eyes in the darkness, that's the realm of your imagination. And there, of course, once again, anything is possible. Here we have the Big Dipper. We know that on the Big Dipper we find the North Star, and the North Star is right here, just above the center of her forehead. Okay, and that's all on purpose there because that's our guiding space, our guiding light, so to speak. And then over here, of course, you have the Earth. The area that's highlighted because of what you shared with me in the book is the area of Florida, in this area right here, and that's sort of highlighted, of course, the southeastern portion of the United States. You have her hair here, which also fades into this darkness. This blue up here, it fades to a much darker color, not black. It's actually greens and browns and everything that gives you appearance of black. Then over here, we have the outline of the outline of Detroit, of the city of Detroit, Motor City, Motown. And then you have people looking upwards, gazing upwards. Are they looking at her? Are they looking at the North Star? Are they worshiping? Are they searching? Well, you know, you got to get the book. you got to get the book. Yes. And see, the thing about it is, I'm going to share something with me that was shared with me share something with you that I heard just before the new year came in. A lady came up to me, and she was looking at one of my coloring books. She said, "This thing is really marketable." Of course, as artists, as writers and artists, we think about marketability too. But she said that her brother was a part of a publishing company, and she said they bypassed on a book that was called The Help. Because the person didn't have an agent or anything, they bypassed on it. And of course, the book went on to do great things, including the movie. And of course, they were kicking themselves. But just that summer, there was another book that came out. And I'm not going to talk about that book because we're talking about this one right here. And that they did buy into that book. And they're actually, I think HBO is making a movie about that book right now. So my point is, when you think about a book like yours, people never know where it's going to go. Of course, as an avid reader, when I buy a book, I don't buy it because there was a movie made about it. I don't buy it because all these great reviews. Of course, that may lead me to it, but I buy it based on the fact that it's something I want to read, something that's going to enrich me. Now, if it does all that, I feel like I'm a part of the story. When there are certain books that I read when they came out as movies, I felt like I had a personal vested interest in that thing because I read the book before. So I'm encouraging people to buy the book. Support your local authors, because at one point, Toni Morrison was somebody's local author. Okay? Toni Cade Bambara and Bell Hooks, all those writers, at some point, they were somebody's local author. All right? So that support is so important, to give support to your local artists, because sometimes once they get so far out there, I don't mean that they can't be down to earth, but sometimes they don't have the time anymore. They physically can't be there. So while you can get your hands on them and be close to them, take full advantage of it. Be a part of the investment, so you can feel like you have a vested interest in the work of these people. Or I should say us. There it is.
Beautiful,
There it is.
beautiful.
Now what's going to happen is the designer, the graphic designer, and she's going to go in, add the title and the words.
To all of the wonderful viewers, thank you for honoring me by watching this until the end. Yay! Text me so we can stay connected. 256-602-1494. The release date for the Rebirth of Making Mary is this summer. Pre-order the book for $15.99, which would make you a contributor, as will be listed in our next project. A contributor is smiled upon because you help make this possible for such a time as this. To God be the glory.
Your picture goes bigger. La 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 la.
Okay, keep.
Go marching in, go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in.
Good evening, my name is Shantae, and I am reviewing Deidre Muhammad's book, Making Mary. When I say how well I really enjoyed the book, we worked together. I was stopping by her office just to discuss the book with her, kind of where her head was. Definitely, if you know Miss Muhammad, the book is completely opposite of her demeanor. It gives you the highs and lows of those days, the racial inequality, while women were still fighting for their voice as well, and you saw that struggle too. You saw the dynamic between her mom, between her and her mother, Vivian and her sisters, Vivian and her abuser, and then the man she fell in love with, but just happened to be off limits for the most part. But don't want to give the book away. Please read it for yourself. You will enjoy it. You will not be sorry. There's not a space where you get bored or anything like that. I think she does a really good job explaining what's going on, how the characters look, what they're wearing, where you can visualize and kind of place yourself there while you're reading. So go get the book.